Narrator, Tel Aviv, engulfed in flames. Bahrain, shaken by explosions. Tehran, under a rain of fire. As you hear these words, your mind likely drifts to the jagged headlines of 2026, the fiery exchange of ballistic missiles and high-tech drones between Israel, Iran, and the West. But the history we are about to uncover belongs to a different era, yet the targets remain hauntingly the same. Audio, the sound of a modern missile launch fades into the heavy, rhythmic thrum of vintage piston engines. Same coordinates, completely different war. We are stepping back to 1940. Today, the shadows over the Middle East cast from the east. But 86 years ago, the death toll arrived from the west. This is the story of the first major Middle Eastern bombing campaign, a forgotten crusade led not by Nazi Germany, but by the ambitious kingdom of Italy under the iron fist of Benito Mussolini. Audio, music shifts to a grand, militaristic orchestral theme, ambitious yet ominous. The summer of 1940 saw Europe in a death throttle. As France fell to the German blitzkrieg, Mussolini, ever the opportunist, sought his own slice of glory. He envisioned a new Roman Empire, stretching from the Mediterranean to the Horn of Africa. But standing in his way was the British Empire, and its lifeblood was the black gold of the Middle East. Mussolini's generals drafted a daring plan: strike at the heart of British energy. Their primary target? The port of Haifa, in what was then mandatory Palestine. Audio, sound of heavy bombers soaring through the clouds. On July 15, 1945, Iron Swallows, the Marchetti SM-79 bombers, departed from the Dodecanese Islands. They bypassed Cyprus in a ghost-like formation, cutting through the Aegean mist. Their mission was simple: cripple the Iraq Petroleum Company's refineries. As the first bombs detached from their bays, the sky over Haifa turned a hellish crimson. 3 massive oil tanks erupted. A power station was silenced. And in the chaos, the first civilian life, an Arab man, was claimed by a war that was never supposed to reach these shores. The fire had just begun. Audio, sound of heavy anti-aircraft fire, distant screams, and the low drone of 10 engines. Narrator, on July 24, 1940, the Sparrowhawks, the SM-79 bombers, returned with a vengeance. 10 Italian aircraft carved through the sky, raining 50 bombs upon eastern Haifa. The earth buckled as the oil infrastructure disintegrated into a towering inferno, halting production for a month. But the true cost wasn't measured in barrels of oil. It was measured in blood. 28 Arabs and 15 Jews perished side by side in the wreckage, a grim prelude to what was coming next. Audio, music shifts to a tense, haunting melody. The British, stretched thin in Egypt, could offer little more than promises. As Mussolini's forces massed in Libya, the skies over Palestine remained wide open. On September 9, 1940, 6 massive Cant Z 107 Alshan bombers, the Kingfishers, veered off course. Driven back from their original targets by British fighters, the Italian pilots made a fateful, panicked decision. They would dump their 4-ton payload on Tel Aviv. They aimed for the port, but the winds of war are indifferent. The bombs drifted, plunging into the heart of residential neighborhoods. In an instant, the city with the largest Jewish population in the region became a graveyard. 117 Jewish civilians were wiped out in the blink of an eye. Audio, a somber, rhythmic drum beat begins, the sound of marching. Yet from the ashes of Tel Aviv, a new resolve was forged. Faced with the terrifying realization that no one was coming to save them, the local population demanded the right to defend their own skies. This tragedy forced the British hand, leading to the recruitment of the first Palestine Light anti-aircraft battery. It was the seed that would grow into the Jewish Brigade, 5,000 soldiers strong, born from the fire of Italian bombs. Audio, music becomes slow, rhythmic, and atmospheric, evoking the vastness of a desert night. Narrator, as the smoke cleared over Palestine, the Italian Royal Air Force, the Regia Aeronautica, was already eyeing a more distant, more ambitious prize. Deep in the Persian Gulf lay the island of Bahrain, a British protectorate and a vital node in the empire's global energy network. To strike it, Mussolini's pilots would have to perform the impossible. Audio: the sound of wind howling across an empty cockpit. October 19, 1941. For massive Soviet Marchetti SM-82 bombers, beasts of the air designed for endurance, roared to life on the island of Rhodes. Their mission was a staggering 2,610-mile odyssey across enemy-controlled territories and desolate sands. For 15 grueling hours, these crews flew in silence, navigating by the stars and the sheer will to prove Italian air power could reach any corner of the globe. They arrived over Bahrain like ghosts in the night. Their target, the Bahrain Oil Company facilities. The bombs fell, striking the refineries and lighting up the Gulf. While the physical damage was repaired, the psychological blow was immense. The Italians didn't turn back to Europe. Instead, they pushed south, landing in Zula, Eritrea, to refuel before their long journey home. It was one of the longest-distance bombing raids in the history of World War II, a feat of aviation hidden in the shadows of more famous battles. Audio: music transitions to a modern, slightly haunting tone. By 1941, the German Luftwaffe and even the Vichy French joined the fray, adding their own chapters of fire to the Middle Eastern theater. But as the tides of the Great War shifted, these Italian raids faded into the footnotes of history. Today, as we watch drones and missiles trace these same flight paths, we realize that the forgotten world events of 1940 were never truly gone. The targets remain. The strategic hunger for energy remains. Only the wings have changed. In the soil of Haifa, Tel Aviv, and Bahrain, the echoes of those Italian engines still linger. A reminder that in the Middle East, the past is never truly past. It is merely waiting for the next siren to sound. Audio: the sound of a distant air raid siren fades into silence.
Hello everyone, thank you for watching the channel. If you like the video content, please hit like and subscribe to the channel to watch the latest videos.